Caldwell First Nation has received reserve status. It took 200 years, and we take a look at what they're looking forward to with the land that's been returned. Vaccine distribution is expanding. What you need to know before you book your next appointment. A live look outside now as we enjoy another beautiful day here in Windsor Essex. 6 degrees outside right now. Nick Sirkovich is going to join us with the weather tonight. I'm Chris Ensing. Thanks for watching. A Windsor woman is in disbelief after police shot and killed her dog. Diane Scott was inside her home when someone knocked at the front door, setting off a string of events that has left her grieving and frustrated. The CBC's Sanjay Maru reports.
Lose a child. Lose a child. That's what's going to happen. It's like losing a child.
It all starts here at the front door of Diane Scott's home. She says her dog gets excited when people are around, so she put her in the backyard. When Scott opened the door, she says there were 2 officers standing by, but unknown to her, more police were on her property.
They went through that gate. I didn't know they were back there.
Within seconds, she heard a loud blast coming from the side of her house. That's where she found the other officers.
And I opened the door. That's when Chloe ran into the house. And the police officer told me, go attend to your dog. Your dog's been shot. And I'm like, what?
A wounded Chloe headed inside toward the bedroom and then curled up on this carpet. Scott says one of the officers entered the home holding the dog's wound until a transport vehicle arrived about 30 minutes later. At the vet, Chloe underwent emergency surgery, which was unsuccessful.
She's going to be messed for years and years and years. No dog, you can get a new dog, but nobody's going to replace her.
According to Scott, police were at the home looking for a friend of her son's who was there at the time. She says she's not sure why, but her focus is not on that. In fact, she's not sure what her next move will be.
Everybody's asking me that. I don't know. I seriously don't know. You know, I am thinking about a lawyer. Talk to a lawyer. Let's see what my options are, but right now I don't know.
Cremating her beloved dog will cost about $1,000. She also spent another $4,000 on vet bills, she says. Online, she's received donations from the community to help cover the costs. But Scott says she wants to see police take that responsibility as she now grieves over such a devastating loss. Sanjay Maru, CBC News, Windsor.
Windsor police released a short statement yesterday confirming that an officer shot and killed the dog. Another short statement coming into our newsroom just before air tonight. Spokesperson Talia Natashak saying that officers were in the area to arrest a person wanted for serious offenses in another jurisdiction. They did not say what those offenses were. They said the officer believed that their safety was in jeopardy before shooting and killing the dog. CBC News has asked for an interview, but no one from the police service has been made available to answer questions. Windsor Essex is going to remain in the red zone for at least another week, and Chatham-Kent will be moving into that zone as well, red as of Monday morning. Now, as far as vaccinations, here's a look at where we are in Windsor Essex, admitting more than 57,000 shots as of this morning. But if you're looking to book a shot, that's going to start to change. As of tomorrow, the online system will be shut down at 4 in the afternoon, and appointments will then need to be booked over the phone. As of Monday, those over 75 can book an appointment for a vaccine, and that's when the health unit's website booking system, that's going to come back online. That's the plan for now, but things could change.
We had meetings earlier today and talking about a different scheduling system, but that was before we were aware that the province, we've essentially caught up with the province, or the province has caught up with us, and we want to assess the scheduling again.
Another change here in Windsor Essex. Starting Monday, pharmacies that offer vaccinations can start taking registrations for the AstraZeneca dose, and that's for people aged 60 and older beyond that 64 limit. A new location for vaccinations is also opening up in downtown Windsor.
We have 24/7 police, 24/7 campus security. This place is lit up like a Christmas tree from a point of view of security cameras and security features. It's very well secured.
And starting Monday, those 75 and older will be able to get their shots there at the former Windsor Star building, now Windsor Hall. 2 more locations are expected to open later this month, including the Sportsplex at the college and the Libero Center in Amherstburg. Now, that a move allowing those 75 and older to be eligible for a vaccine is ahead of schedule. But the reason it might surprise you is because many of the oldest seniors are not signing up for a shot. Queen's Park reporter Mike Crawley looking into that story.
These seniors are among the tens of thousands in Ontario who booked a COVID-19 vaccination as quickly as they could.
They do a very good job. They give me ice cream, tea, and coffee. Delicious.
It turns out not everyone in the 80-plus age group is quite so keen.
We have noticed that the number of people over 80 have declined in booking the appointments, and that's why we now are obviously ready to go to booking appointments for those 75 years of age and older.
That decline has been steep. Nearly 70,000 people booked on Monday, dwindling to barely 7,000 yesterday. And here's the concern. Add up all the people who've either had a shot or booked an appointment, it's only 65% of this age group.
The fact that they're not signing up for the vaccine and rates are going up and the risk goes up every day, it is extremely concerning.
Dr. Zane Chagla says he's surprised at the level of demand from the people who are the most vulnerable to COVID-19.
And the fact that you can't get, all of the 80-year-olds or at least a good chunk of them through these clinics because they're not willing to actually sign up, there's a lot of work that needs to be done on vaccine hesitation. I think we're starting to see how bad it is right now.
The theories on why? Some might be finding it too difficult to book an appointment online, or some might rather be vaccinated at their family doctor's office instead of at a mass vaccination clinic.
People who are elderly, frail might be challenged also, and also intimidated, by the prospect of having to go to some of these centers. And that's certainly something we need to continue to look into.
This lower than expected uptake does mean that people aged 75 and up everywhere in Ontario can book an appointment starting Monday.
We're getting needles in arms even faster than we could ever imagine.
More than 60,000 shots were administered across Ontario yesterday. That's another single-day record. Mike Crawley, CBC News, Toronto.
Results from asymptomatic testing at Windsor Essex schools have been posted publicly today. 11 schools took part in Windsor. There were 168 people tested for that asymptomatic project. There were no cases of COVID-19 that were detected. Testing takes place tomorrow in the county at the Leamington District Secondary School. There's more information on how to sign up on our website. As the provincial budget nears, the Ontario Chamber of Commerce wants to ensure local businesses and municipalities get aid. It's made several recommendations to the province to recover economically from the pandemic. As Dale Molnar reports, ending blanket lockdowns is top of mind for many local businesses.
Is there anything else I can get for you?
Everything's great. Thank you
very much.
27-year-old Shelby Martins has only worked 4 months out of the last year due to lockdowns. The one word that sums it up for her?
Anxiety. I feel like I'm constantly walking on eggshells and that we may be headed toward another lockdown any month now.
At Salon Brush Hair Salon on Ottawa Street, owner Kim Spiro wants to see an end to lockdowns. She says statistics show small businesses aren't responsible for the spread of COVID.
We take every precaution possible to keep people safe, and we're very proud of that. And I believe we can operate fully if we'd only, have these restrictions lifted.
According to the president of the Windsor Essex Regional Chamber of Commerce, 1 in 6 businesses like these across Canada could close permanently because of the pandemic. Locally, that translates to 5,000 businesses. Rakesh Naidu says the province needs to come up with a fairer way to deal with small businesses if there are further lockdowns.
There isn't really a lot of stats or data available that really points to, the infection or the spread of the disease through these small and medium-sized businesses.
Another issue for local business people are the restrictions at the border. The mayor says many travel to the States to negotiate new work and service existing contracts, and those trips should be deemed essential.
We're a trading nation. It will only benefit us, and I think we can still keep sensible precautions in place to protect the public at the same time.
We are concerned that if these restrictions continue, then many of our businesses will not be able to get new business.
Naidu also says 25% of revenues for small businesses in Windsor comes from American visitors. Business people, including Kim Spiro, will hold a rally tomorrow here in front of the health unit offices protesting lockdowns. Spiro says they are not opposed to wearing masks or getting vaccinated. Next Wednesday is provincial budget day. Dale Molnar, CBC News, Windsor.
It took more than 200 years, but Caldwell First Nation has received reserve status. The First Nation obtained an 80-hectare property a decade ago in a land claim settlement, but as of November 2020, it has officially become their land. CBC's Jasmine Cabate takes a look at the history and land of the First Nation, as well as their future.
A 10-year process filled with bureaucratic struggle has ended, granting Caldwell their reserve status. It capped a 230-year-long fight for land for the First Nation. When Caldwell Council first learned of their newly achieved status, they were in a meeting.
We all just erupted with cheers and clapping. So it was a very joyous and happy moment. But there was also, for me, there was a bit of sorrow that was involved as well. There was a lot of ancestors and chiefs before us that fought for so long to get our reserve status and get our land back, and they weren't able to celebrate that with us. So it was mixed emotions.
With no land, members of Caldwell would use part of their traditional territory. This includes Point Pelee National Park. Daryl Van Oorschot is the knowledge keeper for the First Nation. He says their traditional territories runs further than Point Pelee.
Traditionally, we don't look at land as something we own. We are stewards of the land, so ownership didn't come until colonization and contact. But as far as traditional lands, our traditional lands go from the Detroit River all the way to Long Point, but they also extend beyond that.
It wasn't always like this, though. Van Oorschot says the lost Caldwell land is a result of colonization and the War of 1812. Members of the nation allied with the British due to promises to keep their homeland. However, that didn't work out for them.
It wasn't until about the 1850s that we were chased out of the area. And it was, it's an ugly part of our history, but it is part.
Today, Caldwell has a working relationship with Point Pelee National Park. Dan Dufour is a project coordinator with the park and says there was a realization the relationship could be better.
A advisory circle was formed, and that was something between really both governments of the park and the Caldwell people. It's kind of a point where we really began working together fully, and that has led to a lot of changes over time. And then more recently, there's been not just an issue within our national park, but within national parks and historic sites across the country, where we realized that we really needed to improve our communications, our two-way communications.
Parks Canada has an initiative to improve relations with Indigenous people in the country, not just at Point Pelee. It's called Stories of Canada, and Point Pelee and Caldwell have been working together on it.
Stories of the Indigenous people of the parks haven't been talked about, and that's really what we're up to right now. So we're trying to work with the Caldwell people to be able to better tell their stories, and no one knows the story better than the people themselves.
Looking to the future, Caldwell has big plans for their land. Economic development and housing are a high priority. They hope members will move to the First Nation when the time comes.
There is some that live in the Leamington area, as Caldwell members have never really left this area, but and some are close by into in southern Ontario. Some live in out west, BC, Alberta, in the U.S., different states. So we are very spread out at the time.
Caldwell has already begun work on a 600-person restaurant and a winery business. They're close to getting a license for a cannabis business soon and plan to have a gas station. Jasmine Cabate, CBC News.
We've taken a look at the spike in opioid overdoses this week on our show, sparked by an alert about increased emergency room visits in Windsor Essex. Positive Pathways is a group that works with people who have used substance use issues. I spoke with their executive director, Michael Brennan, who told me how he feels about where we are today and where things need to go next.
How does it feel to be here and see things getting worse years into those steps that have been, those concrete steps that have been taken locally?
It is, it continues to be incredibly heartbreaking and frustrating as a service provider. Having the opportunity myself to personally have conversations with folks that are living with substance use and addiction, and describing, some of the challenges that they may be having in terms of addressing their mental health or housing or other social determinants, and especially exacerbated by the pandemic. It really is quite frustrating. That being said, I've also seen greater collaboration over the last couple of years take place. Of course, we have the Windsor Essex Community Opioid Substance Strategy, and a lot of work continues in that area of providing some better prevention and education and anti-stigma work that's happening, more collaboration around treatment and recovery, more understanding of what's happening in shelters and residential programs. I think there will be some light at the end of the tunnel. I'm hoping that there is. Naloxone training and kits have been going more and more out into the community. You're seeing more advocacy for a safe supply coming from our region. Ongoing advocacy for decriminalization and regulation of substances, and then ongoing education for people not to use alone. That's been happening, and then greater advocacy for building greater capacity for wraparound care for mental health and addictions. We've come a long way, I think, from where we've been, but we still have a long ways to go.
Tomorrow marks the first day of spring. For some in the community, it's a time of renewal, a new beginning. Afghan and Iranian Windsorites are celebrating Nowruz, their new year. But it's going to look a little different again this year because of the pandemic. CBC's Tamina Aziz reports.
The snow has melted. The sky is clearing up. That calls for celebration. Nowruz marks the first day of spring. It's celebrated by more than 300 million people around the world, observed in the Balkans, Central Asia, the Middle East, South Asia, and other regions. An ancient holiday, it's been celebrated for more than 3,000 years. People don new clothes and clean their homes in preparation. I asked Bas Bibi Shiva how people celebrate Nowruz in other ways. She says in Afghanistan, she would make traditional desserts like samanak and haft mewa. She would also explore the outdoors with her loved ones, but that isn't the case in Canada in the last 2 years. She celebrates alone. She can't visit friends. For Ali Rezai, it reminds him of his childhood.
It brings back memories of Iran, of my hometown, my culture. It was a really fun time, so I always remember of that, seeing family, and it just had a great feeling.
But with the pandemic entering its second year, he won't be able to celebrate like he used to.
Well, of course, it makes us very sad that we can't see all our friends, all our loved ones that we usually celebrate with.
They're still keeping the spirit alive, following more COVID-friendly traditions like growing wheatgrass called sabzi, which is used as one of the 7 symbolic items on the Haft-Seen table that you can see here. While it's not the new year they had envisioned, Ali Rezai and Shiva hope to spend it with loved ones next year. Tamina Aziz, CBC News, Windsor.
Flowers in that shot there should be popping up around Windsor Essex soon. Excited for that, to see some of that color out here in our neighborhood gardens as well. A look right now at the skies, looking pretty bright. Nick Sirkovich with a look at the forecast next. There were some foul sights in downtown Windsor today. A couple of turkeys hanging out in this alley here, but they weren't there for long. This trio of female turkeys were walking around Church Street and Wyandotte Street West this morning, trying to get in their steps while the weather starts to warm up. We're joined now by another lovable turkey. Can I call you that, Nick? Is that okay? I don't know. I just...
Sure.
When I think of the people in my life who make me happy, I think of two things. I think of the wild turkeys and I think of Nick Serkovich. These are the big things.
Yeah, okay, I'll take that as a compliment. You know, the last time we showed turkey pictures, by the way, was close to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Well,
these ones are safe. They made it out.
These ones did, apparently, right? Let's see if they make it to next Thanksgiving. Hey, listen, spring starts tomorrow, right? So what is it? Well, it's the spring equinox. And basically, just a quick explainer graphic for you, as the Earth goes around the sun, it's the time when essentially the sun's rays, the most direct rays, pass through the equator heading north. Our days are getting longer at this point. And at this point, tomorrow, essentially we've got 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night, and then our day continues to get longer. Spring begins tomorrow at 5:37 a.m. Set your clocks, and the temperatures are going to make it feel like that. 7 degrees today. That's about the seasonal mark, but they are getting warm. We've got double digits in the forecast. Clear skies over here, and that's all thanks to this high pressure. I mean, it's essentially the same thing. We could have just put my weather forecast on record from yesterday. High pressure in place, it just stays there. You see this other systems kind of wrapping around it. It's not until Tuesday to Wednesday where this starts to sort of break down, and then we're going to see some showers moving through with these. But before that, it's really just high pressure in place here. Light winds in the forecast as we head through tonight and into tomorrow as well. That's going to be the story. Forecast-wise for tonight, we're looking at temperatures that are going to be at -4, a little bit cooler. Wind chills of about -8, winds up to about 15 kilometers per hour or so. As we head through tomorrow afternoon, we're looking at double-digit highs, 12 degrees. If you're closer to the water, it is going to be a little bit cooler. You're looking at 9, 10 degrees. But once you get away from the water, you're looking at temperatures that are going to be around that 13-degree mark there. And that's basically what it looks like as we head through the next few days. Now, Saturday, 12 degrees. Sunday, 14 degrees. Monday, 17 degrees. It actually could go up a little bit higher than that. Pattern starts to break down as we head through Tuesday and Wednesday with a few showers in there. But all in all, it's been a pretty nice March, I would have to say. Well above seasonal and pretty dry so far anyway.
Can't ask for more. Now, I gotta say, old wise tale I heard when I was living out east, a turkey represents Mother Nature and the abundance of wealth we get from her. So when I think of that, I think of you, Nick, because of the wealth of sun you bring us.
Look at you just throwing out all of these compliments today.
Hey, I'm just, I'm happy to have you with us, buddy. Enjoy the weekend, eh?
Yeah, you too. Cheers.
Now, there's a local teacher who found a way to take her students on a vacation. They did it virtually. We'll check that out when we come back.
Dick.
Winter officially comes to an end this weekend. Spring almost sprung, and every year we deal with the cold, snow, the ice. This year, a bit more isolation in the winter here in Canada, but at least we don't have to deal with anything quite like this.
Oh, damn!
That's New South Wales, Australia. Those are mice. Thousands of them. Infestations like this, they happen on occasion, but some locals call this the worst plague of mice in decades. They're invading grain silos, barns, homes, hospitals as well. Many people have already been bitten. No one exactly sure when that will end. A local public school teacher got creative to give her virtual students a virtual vacation. She posted this on Twitter that March break wasn't postponed in her class. Students were asked to wear their best vacation outfits and preparing for a little bit of a virtual field trip. She photoshopped them into familiar sights out in Florida. The results here, you're looking at it. The big, huge smiles, Mickey and Minnie, can't go wrong there. Palm trees, they've got it all. What a way to bring a little bit of fun into a year that's been, well, pretty wild. That's it for CBC Windsor News. Don't forget, for news anytime, you can go to our website, cbc.ca/Windsor. We're on social media too. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The Rick Mercer Report is up next. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.